how are you doing? Saying you're watching your DJ Stonzia live on Straight Talk Media Show. Call me DJ Stonzia and I'll respond yes, Akokraba. Today we're going to talk about spiritual abuse in our churches. What is spiritual abuse in our churches? Do you even know there is a name called, there's something called spiritual abuse, or there's abuse in your church, or there's abuse in our churches? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that because I and my friend, we had, some of my friends, we had this conversation because there's something going on in a particular church that they are in Africa, and we had a conversation. Those things exist, but in Africa we don't talk about it because, oh, he's the priest, he's that. Okay, so we're going to look, at spiritual abuse. And what is spiritual abuse? Probably you are in a spiritual abuse, you don't know. And before that, I want you to listen to this gospel music. I have no right to it. It's all for entertainment reason. Enjoy. Yes, thank you so much. I think I'm going to leave the music playing at the background, very soft, and I hope you can hear me. Like I said, I have no right to this music. Go for entertainment reason. What is spiritual abuse? What do you understand by spiritual abuse? I just want us to talk about it a little bit based on the conversation I had with a friend about something that is going on in the church, the church that she's in. Okay, so spiritual abuse. Spiritual abuse happens in our churches. Okay, let's talk about it. Religious and spiritual abuse are very common ways that narcissists, psychopaths, and sociopaths groom and train their targets. Okay, religious and spiritual abuse are very common ways that these narcissists, psychopath and sociopath groom and train their targets in a church. In a church, that's what they do. You may unconsciously drawn to this kind of abuse if you were abused by a caretaker or authority figure in your childhood. For example, in a church, like you go to Sunday. I went to Sunday school when I was back home in Ghana, and then you go to Sunday school. Then there's the leader of the Sunday school that it's nice to you, they teach you stuff, they talk to you, and sometimes when you have a friend in a group and maybe you fall out and you're not talking, this caretakers like the Sunday teachers will step in and advise you, don't do this according to the Bible, according to what, and then we listen to each other. So we look up to this Sunday school teachers like they are perfect, they're good, because they are teaching us the word of God. They're teaching us how to be good as children, how to be good to our parents, how to be respectful, and telling us all this story about the Bible. You look up to them and you in your head, these people cannot do any wrong, okay? Because they are leaders. They cannot do any wrong. So you look up to them. But the same people turn around and train these people and abuse them. And they do stuff to these children. They do stuff to these boys in a group. They do stuff to these girls in a group and tell you, this is what God said. You need to obey God. You need to listen to God. They groom you. They filled you up with, oh, God says, God says, God said don't do that. God said don't talk. And if you do this, God will punish you. This is called spiritual abuse. This is called spiritual abuse. Some of them molest the children. Some of them are touching the girls. Some of them are touching the boys and doing all this stuff. And then maybe some of them become aware of what is happening. And maybe the caretaker or the Sunday school teacher becomes aware that this boy or this girl knows exactly what she or he is doing. And probably she or he is going to say something. Then they put fear in them. Don't say this. If you say this, God will punish you. If you say it to your mom, no one will believe you. God says that we should obey our leaders. God said that we shouldn't do this. So they feel this narcissist and sociopath and psychopath train their targets, and then molest them and then put a fear of God in them. So don't say that. If you do that, God will punish you. God will not bless you. God will not answer your prayers. So you walk about in this church pretending that everything is good. Meanwhile, the person that you're looking up to is abusing you. This is very dangerous from abuse. This is the dangerous form of abuse, because the target usually looks up to, the admirers and the priest, the master, the teacher, the guide, the guru, etc. We look up to them, though it can be also happen in marriages and relationships where one person exploits, the other's religious, spiritual, the other person religious or spiritual beliefs. It happens, this kind of spiritual abuse, it happens in our marriages as well. Probably you're a Muslim and your partner is a Christian, and then something happened and you use their belief against them. You said you're Muslim, but you still drink alcohol, because allegedly the Muslims, are not supposed to drink. But then you hide behind the closed door in your own home, and then you're drinking and you're doing stuff, and then things happen between you and your partner. They insult you. I'm going to tell your master, I'm going to tell the guru that you're doing this against me, or the other, vice versa. Or something happened between you and your partner, then you use their belief to to exploit them, to insult them, to say something nasty about them, or you put the fear in them that if you know that in our church this is not acceptable, and if you ever open your mouth and say this to somebody in my church and I got exposed, I will do this to you. This is called spiritual abuse. People use our beliefs to exploit us, to abuse us emotionally and physically, because they say things to you that will never go off your head, and they touch you. Like I said, the master, all this, target to look at to, all these masters, the guru, the teacher, the priest, we look up to them like they can do no wrong in our eyes. And then when they start abusing us, and then they put this fear in us that God will not bless us if we say something. God will kill us if we say something. God will punish our parents. God will bring curses in our home if we say something. So they're all walking about in the church pretending that everything is good. Are you being abused in your church? I'm talking to someone, spiritual abuse. Voice out. If you see something going on in that quiet group, something going on at Sunday church that you're not comfortable about, say something, because all this, the narcissist and the sociopath and the psychopath, when they do all this, they put fear in the head of these children. They put fear in the head of these teenagers that you can't say anything. If you say anything, this is what will happen to you. Or if you say anything, no one will believe you. And I've heard a story about that. So I had this conversation with my friend about what is going on in her churches, and like she's not comfortable. It's like in the whole churches, something is going on. Something is going on. The priests and the masters, the gurus, the teachers are sleeping with people in the church, and some of them have wives. And some of them go to a extent that you can't say anything. If you do, no one will believe you. Or if you do, I'll do this to you. So these young girls are walking in a church and still being abused because they're so afraid that they can't say anything. And if you say anything, God will punish them. No one will listen to them, or they will die. Are you being spiritually abused? Are you being spiritually abused? Be aware of the signs that, this signs of trust. Your feelings above all. When your gut tells you something is wrong, listen to that. And do not, dismiss your inner knowing just because the abuser is, is in a position of power. Take your power back and, or is in a position of power. No, as soon as your gut instinct tells you that this is wrong, it means it's wrong. That's the time that you need to say something. This person, has been abusing you, putting fear in you, and maybe the person, they even doing it to your friends. They're doing it to your friends, and you've seen that they've done it to you. They move on to the next person and doing it and doing it and doing it. It's spreading it in the church, and no one is talking about it. But you can do something about it. You can do as soon as you feel that, because remember, they put a fear in you that you can't say this, you can't say that, and then you don't. But once upon a time, you have this gut feeling that I need to say something. That is the time, sweetheart. If you're listening to me and you are in this position, even your friend is in this position and they've discussed it with you, or if you've seen and your gut is telling you something, take that action. You will never die because you're telling the truth. You're saving somebody's life instead. All this time that you've kept quiet, that's why, that is what is giving him that power to spread around, to molest these children, touch these children, and tell them that, oh, if you say something, no one will believe you. God will never forgive you. You're a Christian. Christians are not supposed to say something. No, remember you did that time, but now your gut instincts is telling you that you need to say something. We need to start from somewhere, sweetheart. We need to start from somewhere, churches. We can't keep quiet. People know. I mean, some of the pastor's wife knows that their husbands are sleeping with these little children in the church, but they don't want to say about it because it's their husband. If their husband is been exposed, then it will affect them. They will lose their church. They will lose. All these people are covering up, and people, these young teenagers are suffering in the church, even to the point that boys are also suffering. These leaders, the priests, the gurus, the masters, they sleep with the boys as well. Homosexuality is there in the church. And you might not be experiencing it, but there's children at Sunday school, the children in the choir, the children in all the small groups are experiencing it. But these masters are putting fear in their head. Like, don't say it. If you say it, no one will believe you. If you say it, no one will believe you. I need to drink water. Thank you for watching. Yes, thank you so much for watching. I needed to drink water. You understand? If you're watching me now and you're going through this, you need to speak out. It's about time you speak out. If you speak out now, you will save somebody's life. These masters and gurus and teachers, Sunday school teachers, caretakers in our churches, in our religious groups are abusing those children, are abusing the boys, but no one is talking about it because of the fear. Sweetheart, take your power back. Take your power back. Everything that they're telling you is a lie. If you speak the truth, you won't die. If you didn't speak the truth, someone somewhere will listen to you. You can't start with your parent. Talk to your parent. If you've seen something like that, if you see signs, you've seen something, it's happened to you, please. I know you feel shameful. You don't want anybody to know what has happened to you, but he's going to do it to other people. You don't like what has happened to you. Do you want somebody to feel the same thing that you're feeling? No, we don't want these people to take our power from us. We don't want these people to abuse us, to take our childhood freedoms from us. Because what happens is when these children, these girls and boys are being abused in their childhood, it does affect their growth. It does affect their mentality. It does affect their health. It does, affect how they socialize with other people. It does. It does affect how they socialize themselves. Some people goes into isolation. They don't want to play with them. So many things happen to these children. Are you being spiritual abused? Are you going to say something now? When? Please, it's about time. You can save another child's life. You can save another girl going through that. You can save another boy being molested by the master, by the teacher, by the caretaker, by all these gurus, by the masters, all these priests, whatever the bishops, whatever they call themselves. Please save a child's life by speaking out. Are you being spiritual abused? Thank you for watching. You're watching Straight Talk Media Show. Call me DJ Stones here and I'll respond yes, Apokraba. We're talking about spiritual abuse. Spiritual abuses in our churches, spiritual abuse in our churches, spiritual abuse in our religious groups. Spiritual abuse, what does it look like? Would you know if you are in a spiritual abusive environment? How would you know if you are in a spiritual? How would you know that in your church people are being abused and all that? You wouldn't know. Maybe you just been abused, so you thought it's just you. No, these people are doing it. They've been doing it a long time before you came in. But no one is speaking out. But through you, these people will be exposed. But if you don't say anything, you're scared because they put that fear in your head that you die. You won't die. You won't die. Spiritual abusive environment is a very toxic place to be. I've heard about these religious groups in America. I don't know if we have it. How the girls don't even have a choice to say, this is the guy I love. They made them marry when they're 11 years old, 3 years old, and abuse them. And whilst all this is going on, the leaders are abusing them, the boys are abusing those girls. What is going on? It's called spiritual abuse. Don't say to yourself, this is how our church are. This I was born into it, so there's nothing wrong in it. If something is wrong in it, sweetheart, that boy is sleeping with you, and his friend is also sleeping with you. They come and go. You can't say anything. And before you realize, they're doing it to another girl. They're doing it to the other boy. Spiritual abuse. I mean, sometimes when you speak out, we've seen a situation where people speak out and then they will call them into the leaders group. And they convince them, to forgive and forget. Have you been in that situation? Or forgive and forget, and God will bless you. Don't say anything. They convince you not to say anything. If you say anything, this will happen. Forgive and forget was used against so many people. Or they won't acknowledge what has happened. They'll call you a liar. They'll stigmatize you. They'll call you a liar, or they'll isolate you in situations that we've seen with people. But let it start from you. You speak your truth. Whether they disown you, they shun you, at least you put the truth out there, and you can go away. You can go. There's so many churches out there. You don't even have to go to a church. Yes, you don't have to go to a church to be called a Christian. You can have your own Bible and read the Bible and practice what the Bible says. Church is like a fellowship. You can stop going to the places that you're being abused in, that religious group that you've been abused in, that, whatever it is. Forgive and forget is used all the time. If you don't forgive them, God will not bless you. If you don't agree with them, and then you are not a true Christian. You're not a true Christian, because when they want to abuse you, you didn't want to do it. So they will shun you and then let other people feel that you're a bad person. Some people go to a point and call them you're a witch. They isolate you because you're a strong person. Let them isolate you. Or when it happens and they call a group meeting, all the pastors, the gurus, the teachers, the caretakers will convince you to forgive this person who raped you, the person who touched you, or the person who molested you. And if you don't agree to what they say, then it means that you're evil. Some people stop talking to you. You've had a situation like that. Some people will shun you. Some people will not even acknowledge you, even your friends. They will turn you and they will turn around and make you feel like you are the abusive person. You've been abused, but when you speak out, people will turn around and make you feel like you're the abusive person. Yes, let them crucify you. Jesus died on the cross for our sin. By the end of it, you and I are free. Say something. If you don't say something, these masters and gurus will carry on molesting people in a church, in a religious group. We're talking about spiritual abuse. Have you seen some in your church, your religious place? Please speak out. People are being abused. Spiritual abuse. That's what I call it. Spiritual abuse. That's the topic of my message. To you. Are you being spiritual abused? Have you seen anyone being spiritual abused in a church, in a religious group? Please say something. Don't listen to what they're saying to you, you will die. If you say something, God will punish you. If you say something, then you're not a Christian. If you say something that you're not a believer in this religion. If you say something, we're not doing that. You can't say anything. They are the masters. They can do what they want. They can touch you. They can do it. No, they can't touch you. No one is allowed to touch you, to touch your breast, to touch your private part as a man, to touch you, being a girl or any a boy. No master, no guru, no caretaker, no priest is allowed to touch you where they shouldn't touch. They can pray for you, lay their hands on your head. That is okay. But they can't touch you. And if something like that is going on in your religious group, in your church, you've been abused. You've been spiritually abused, because they do all that. And then they use the word of God to back it and say, you can't say that. If you say that, then you're not Christian. Then you're not a Muslim. You're not Hindu. You're not a Buddhist. Or you don't believe in this particular religion, because we don't do that. Sweetheart, we do that. There are principles in everything. Even when you go to the Bible that you read, or the whatever they call it, the book that the Muslims read, I know, but I can't forget. There's no quotation in the Bible or in the Muslims Quran. Is it Quran? I don't know, that you should touch a boy where you shouldn't touch, you touch a girl where you shouldn't touch. No, a woman's body is something that you need to respect, being a child, adult, or whatever. And the same as boys. Please, if you're being spiritually abused, talk to somebody, talk to your parents, talk to somebody you trust, speak out. You speaking out will save another child's life. You speaking out will save another girl being molested, being abused, being touched and all that in a church. They will speak down on you. Some of them will speak down on you. When you speak out, I had a story like that. They'll call you all names because you say something. Probably the person who molested you and then you complain about it is one of the people that everyone thinks in the church that they are holy, 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 holy. But they are the person who is abusing you. So you've spoken against this person, then it's abomination. They will shun you, they will neglect you, they will downlook you, they will down talk you, they will say all these things. Please don't let that scare you. You speak your truth. You've been molested. You don't want another child being molested. Do you want another child to feel how you're feeling now? If you look at yourself in the mirror and in the pain that this person has caused you, would you like to inflict, or would you like this person to inflict the same pain on another girl? It could be your best friend, it could be your younger sister, it could be your younger brother. You don't know who this narcissist and sociopath and psychopath are going to target. The spiritual abusers, the priests, the gurus, I call them sociopaths, psychopaths, and narcissists. They don't care who they're targeting. I don't care. Or don't you care if they turn on you? After all, you've been abused again already. What have you got to lose? You've been abused already. What have you got to lose? All you have to do is gain your power back and speak out. Gain your confidence back. Don't let this person silence you anymore. The damage is being done to you, but you can save another child's life. Thank you so much for watching. I spoke about spiritual abuse. Spiritual abuse is going on in our churches, in our religious groups, in our community, in all these religious groups that we have. Please speak out. Children are suffering, boys are suffering, girls are suffering, but your voice can save a child being abused by these gurus, masters, priests, teachers, caretakers, whatever they call themselves. Thank you so much for watching. Call me DJ Stonzia and I'll respond yes, Apokrava. Watch all my videos on YouTube, Straight Talk Media. We talk about marriages a lot, so if you have any topic for me, just send it to me. This topic came from a conversation that I had with my friend about something that is going on in a church in Ghana. I'm a Ghanaian. I'll do more research about this topic and probably I'll bring you part 2. Thank you for watching and share the video. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. God bless.